What's up, guys? So, what you are seeing somewhere on here is two of my lifters recently hit bench press PRs. Tobias is the first one you see. He hit 130 kilos, 286 pounds. And then Leon is the second one. He hit 150 kilos, 330 pounds, breaking the three plate barrier. On this day, he had kilo plates there. He hit 314 pounds. So right there at three plates, and then hit this one immediately after that. So he just jumped over the three plate barrier in a single session, and that is amazing. And congratulations to both of these lifters. Obviously, I've been guiding them, but they've been putting in the work. And they are two very different lifters. These are my two longest term lifters I've had with me. Tobias has been with me over a year. Leon, I'd have to go back and look, but I think we're probably coming up on a year here soon. And it takes a bit of time to get to know individual lifters and nuances and how they respond and their personalities and how to communicate with them, both as a coach and as a friend. All of my lifters I intake, the first two blocks are the same. So the first 8 weeks for all of my lifters are going to be the same. It's not necessarily going to be the exact same movements, and of course it's not going to be the exact same weights on the movements, but they're all the same in that block one is a pure conditioning block we work on, and then block two works directly off of block one and bridges into more strength building. And then after that second block is where I kind of start to get to know the lifters as individuals. I pick up some nuances throughout those first two blocks, of course. But afterwards is when we really get to fine-tuning the programming a bit more based on their goals, needs, wants, etc. Tobias is very much a twitchy lifter. I mean, if there's a spectrum of pure fast twitch and pure slow twitch, he's definitely on the fast twitch side. And I found with him, we kind of do a block linear scheme. A lot of compensatory acceleration work is in there. We do dabble in some AMRAPs, some higher rep range stuff, but we touch on it. But the root of the work is compensatory acceleration based. He responds really well to that. And he's somebody who responds well to a peak and taper type thing when we're looking to PR on a lift or when we're going into a meet. And he's done one meet under me. We've hit PRs on all the big three. At his meet, we had to take a step back on bench press, and we didn't get to PR his bench press at the meet. But we sorted that out, and in doing so, we found out how much close grip bench press translates when he goes back to his normal competition grip. And we also learned that bringing his competition grip in a little bit seemed to help a lot too. So there's always lessons to be learned in there in that. And when I give him any RPE based work, all of my program is not RPE based. I use that as a tool like it is. He typically undershoots, if anything, if he doesn't hit it on the nose. He's very disciplined. His dieting has been on point. Not that we're like dieting in a deficit or anything, but he's very consistent with what he eats. His sleeping is pretty consistent. He's got a good routine down. Our communication is extremely consistent. And like I said, he's an undershooter, if anything. And so if I'm going to give him a higher RPE number, like I don't have to worry about him getting tempted to go off plan or anything. He actually hit a PR a couple weeks ago. His previous bench PR was 120, and I gave him a higher RPE single, and he hit 122 and a half, and it was easy. It was the RPE prescribed, and a lot of people would be tempted to make a jump because it was there and it was easy. But he's disciplined, and he listened to what I told him, and he left that extra one in the tank. And lo and behold, here a couple weeks later, he's hitting 130 kilos, sticking to the script like we do. Leon, again on that spectrum of twitchy, fast twitch, and slow twitch, he's a little more on the slow twitch side, not like a complete grinder, but he definitely is on the slower twitch side. And again, we started with the same 2 blocks that we started with all my other lifters. And as we've gone on, I am big on compensatory acceleration, and we were very much doing a lot of that, and we saw some good results. He ended up having some issues with his knee, and we have worked around that. He's also, had some different things going on in his life that, life happens, and lifting, as much as we all love it, is typically not priority one for anybody, and we've had to work around that. But we've gone to more of a step loading scheme with Leon, and a lot more higher rep work and closer to proximity to failure work, more along the lines of power builder rather than like explosive athlete type stuff, which is where I found my sweet spot with Tobias. And so we do mostly, we're in the 8 to 15 rep range, depending. Sometimes it gets up higher as we're progressing with the steps before we make a jump up to the next weight. And he has just been stacking on slabs of muscle, and we did not peak for his bench PR, and he had a 15 kilo PR. And to be fair, this PR has been in the tank for a while. I've known it's there. I've told him it's going to be there. It wasn't time yet. And he is an overshooter when I give him any RPE work. And again, with him, we stay in that kind of, more higher rep range of strength building / hypertrophy, more proximity to failure. But we do touch on some cat stuff and some RPE stuff that's still in there. But I gave him an RPE 9 single. And I know when I give Leon an RPE 9 single, he is going to push it to the limit and is going to go there. So I know that. We've communicated now for almost a year. I know that's how he is. So and he's going to see this, and now but I'm sure he has an inkling of it anyway, and I tell him all the fucking time that was an overshoot, dude. But, if I want an actual RPE 9 from him, I'll give him like an RPE 7 or 8 because I know he's going to overshoot it. But no, he's been doing great. He's been busting his ass, been working extremely hard. Like I said, he's had some circumstances outside of the gym, and we've progressed through those and communicated through those, and he is doing fucking fantastic, and it tickles my heartstrings to see him at that PR. And yeah, they are my 2 longest term lifters. They are 2 very different lifters in approach. They both have the mindset that they want to be really good at what they do. So in that way, they're similar. And even with their differences, the one being more fast twitch, the one being a little more slow twitch, one being an undershooter, one being an overshooter. One I tend to train with a little more explosiveness in mind in the training itself. But we touch on some of the step loading in other ways and touch on some of the higher rep stuff. And then the other one, we're pretty much doing a pure step loading at this point with a little bit of cat work dabbled in there on his end. And both are seeing great results. And this is a product of, long-term coaching and getting to know a lifter for who they are. I do have my biases as a coach. I think every coach does. Anybody who's been lifting for any amount of time has their biases, and a lot of it is, what we came in with and what we came up on and what worked for us. But I'm not afraid to, go and pivot in other directions while still having my sort of philosophy melded into it, and how I think and how I act and how I do things with lifting and lifters, but being open-minded enough and willing to go, not completely outside of my wheelhouse, but stretching it out a little bit. And and both of these lifters have also given me a lot of great input and feedback, And I'm not a coach who claims to know everything. If your coach claims to know everything, you should probably get a new coach. They've suggested ideas to me, be it a movement, be it a rep range, be it a certain pattern of how to do things. I mean, Tobias just made the suggestion last week with his incline bench presses about making a change to how we were programming it. And it happened to be something that I'm pretty familiar with and something that I do for myself and something that I'm willing to experiment with him. We are not really near a meet or anything like that. We just came off hitting a bench press PR with him. If there was ever a time to experiment with things, it is now. And if he wants to try to do something in this manner, I have absolutely no qualms, even if it wasn't my idea. It's something that I can still certainly, offer him my guidance with, especially since it's something I'm super familiar with, and it's up my wheelhouse. But yeah, I wanted to brag on these lifters, talk a little bit about coaching, some of the nuances that go with it, and just how different lifters can be. And that said, even with the differences, there's still a whole lot more overlap, just in lifters' mentality anyway. Then there's not, even though they get programmed a little bit different. That overlap is definitely still there. And I made an Instagram reel, and it sucks only having 90 seconds to talk about this shit. So wanted to make a full YouTube video on it so I could get some more of my thoughts out, even if it was a little bit scatterbrained. So hope you guys enjoyed this. I do coach. I am looking to put on probably another couple lifters this holiday season. So if that's something you're interested in, DM me on Instagram, and I'll get email address from you, and I will send you an intake questionnaire to see if we would possibly be a good fit. And if you reference either Tobias or Leon, and we end up working together, I'll give you $50 off your first month, and whichever lifter you reference will get $50 off of their next month. Peace!